Hey, it's Jonathan McGinley, the founder and owner of Intentional Man, an organization that exists to inspire and equip Christian men to live intentionally, pursue God-sized goals, and build lives of significance. I actually want to talk to you today about building a life of significance. What does that actually mean? What comes to mind when you think of building a life of significance? Is it having career success? Is it about achieving your goals or your dreams? Is it making a huge impact on other people? How you think about this is truly going to affect how you spend your time and your energy each day. And I believe every man wants their life to matter. They want to feel like their life was significant. They want to know that the world would miss them if they weren't here. So if you want your life to matter, you're going to have to define what actually makes it matter, right? If subconsciously you think that your life only matters if you have career success, then most likely that's what you're going to focus on day after day. If you think your life only matters if you're liked, then you're probably going to spend your time and energy just doing things to make people like you, even if you aren't being true to yourself or what you actually value. It's so easy as a man to try to find your validation in success or in how other people view you or how strong you are, how fit you are, how wealthy you are, and so on and so on. And if you don't define what significance actually means to you, it's going to be easy to chase things that you think are going to bring you the validation that you seek. And so when significance is all about yourself, you're going to spend your time only working on the things that help you personally. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I've actually realized how easy it is to fall into a trap where I just think about myself all day long. Just think about some of your past few days. Think about how you spent your time. Think about what you were focused on. Think back to your mindset the last couple of days and the actions that you took. So when I did this exercise, when I kind of thought back through, I realized so much of my day was actually spent completely self-focused. And that wasn't my intention at all, but it's just the reality of most of the days if you're not actually intentional about it. So for me, a lot of times I get up, I go to the gym, then I go to work all day. Maybe I spend some time running some errands, and then I practice drums or something along those lines. And none of these things are bad, but they can end up being all self-focused activities if I'm not intentional about it. And they can all be activities where you impact others, though, if you are intentional about it. And these are activities that I do almost every day. So how do I actually guard myself from only thinking about myself all day long? It's really easy to be self-centered when you just kind of go through the motions, even though that's not what I actually truly want my life to be about. And I'm sure that's not what you want your life to be about. And I need to make sure that I'm not doing everything throughout the day just to serve myself. And there's a big difference between significance and success. Success, we hear that word all the time. And when I think about success, I think success is usually self-serving. It's usually self-focused. It's all about you. But significance is about others. And I believe a life that truly matters is a life of significance. It's a life that impacts others. It's a life that is others-focused instead of self-focused. You could be the most successful person in the world, but if everything just ends and disappears when you're no longer here, then was it truly significant? Did it truly matter? You could have all the success in the world, but if you have no meaningful relationships or you didn't make anyone else's life better, is it truly a successful life? And I think that a life that is spent impacting others is the best life. That's the life that Jesus lived, right? Everything he did was done for others. The Bible says that he came to serve and not to be served, that he came to seek and to save the lost. And ultimately, he gave his life for us on the cross. His entire life was built on significance and not just success. When I say the word significance to people sometimes, it can feel easy, like you have to do something huge to live a life of significance, right? That word seems really big, that you have to be the one on stage speaking, or you have to be the leader or the one who starts some big organization. But living a life of significance truly just means living to make an impact in others' lives instead of just your own. And John Maxwell has a great definition of significance that I really love. He says, you live a life of significance when you make a difference with others wherever you are with whatever you have day by day. I love that. You just seek to make a difference with others wherever you are with whatever you have. It's that simple. You don't have to do anything crazy big. You just have to start living each day for others instead of yourself. People usually wake up each day driven by one of three things. So think through what this would be for you. Usually one of three things, either success, survival, or significance. So success, again, is just focusing on yourself and your own personal gain. Survival is kind of where you just wake up each day and you're just trying to get through the day without dying or without losing too much sleep, or without being too stressed out. Significance is where you wake up each day and you're actually looking for opportunities to love, serve, and impact others. So how do you typically wake up each morning? What typically is driving you each day? What is it of those three things? And I think intentionality to the highest degree is about intentionally living for other people. I think it would be a huge miss to be highly intentional about every minute of your time, but to have all of that time be completely self-focused, completely self-centered. It'd be a huge miss to make your intentions all about what you can gain instead of what you can give. Significance is always about others and serving them intentionally. So when you change your thinking from what am I going to receive to instead what am I going to give, I think that's when your entire life begins to turn around. So today I want to ask you, how can you put more significance in your story? How can you start living for others more in your day-to-day life? And I want to give you 5 key differences between success and significance. So as I go through these, try to think through your past few days and see where you've fallen more often. So number 1, success focuses on self, significance focuses on others. At the end of the day, can you truly look back and say that your day was spent more on behalf of others than yourself? One of the best ways to do this is to actually define how you can add significance to your everyday tasks. Most of us can't spend each day at a homeless shelter or out on the mission field. So how can you actually add significance to the things that you do each and every day? How do you make work more about others? So even when you're answering emails or you're just making sales calls, how can you shift your focus from just yourself to other people? And I was talking with a client the other day about this, and we kind of went through all of his major everyday activities and actually defined how he could bring more significance into those activities. It was a super powerful exercise. I was really inspired to do it for myself after as well. But we realized that when he went to make sales calls, it was no longer the mindset of how can I just make as much money as possible? That's an easy way to kind of view sales calls. But instead, when you bring significance into it, the question was, how can I encourage this person? How can I encourage them right now and make their day better? Or how can I make this person feel valued? How can I serve them the best that I possibly can? And taking that kind of approach into your everyday activities is going to ensure that you're living for significance rather than success. Okay, number 2, the next is that success is focused on material things more often, and significance is focused on eternal things. Which one of those 2 things gets more of your attention? Are you actually more concerned with your material possessions, or are you more concerned with building God's kingdom? And I know that as believers, you know this, you're supposed to be about God's kingdom more than your own. But let me ask you, is that actually a reality in your life? You got to do a heart check. You got to do a gut check. If I took a look at your schedule and your finances, would it show me that you're truly about God's kingdom, or would it show me that you're about your kingdom? Tough question to ask. I really had to do that. In full honesty, it's a lot of times about my kingdom. And I thought I was all about God's kingdom until I really looked at where my time and my attention was going. And sometimes it tells a different story. So follow that. Follow your time. Follow your attention. Follow your focus. Follow your finances. And you're usually going to get a pretty clear picture of what's actually important to you. Okay, number 3, success is constantly looking for recognition, where significance seeks to recognize others. So when you walk into a room, are you more focused on how you're going to be perceived, how other people are going to perceive you? Or are you more focused on how you can love and serve other people? When you walk into a room, do you announce, here I am? Or do you go and say, oh, there you are? When your life is built on significance, you're going to constantly be looking for ways to encourage others and build them up instead of just fishing for compliments for yourself. So I love this quote. I can't remember where I got it for the first time, but it says, always seek to be the most interested person in the room instead of the most interesting person in the room. Live with curiosity. Ask people questions about their life before you just start talking about your own life. So that's a big one. Seek to be the most interested instead of the most interesting. Okay, number 4, a life that's just focused on success lives with a scarcity mindset, where a life that's focused on significance lives with an abundance mindset. So when you have that scarcity mindset, you're usually kind of scared to share your knowledge or your experience with others because you're afraid that they might surpass you, or that when they get good, you might not look as good. But an abundance mindset always takes the approach that there's plenty to go around for everybody. That just because you help somebody else be successful, it doesn't minimize you. And I want to grow so that I can help others grow. And part of the motivation to grow and to get better is to help others grow and get better. So seek to always be a river rather than a reservoir. What you gain should be passed right on like a river. It should flow to others instead of just being kept for yourself. Okay, and then the last one. Success just seeks to make yourself famous, where significance seeks to make God famous. This is a big one. Everything that you have is from God. Everything that I have is from God. The breath in your lungs, the healthy body that you have, the opportunities that you have, it's all because of God. Are you looking to take all the credit for your life and your accomplishments? Or are you seeking to give the credit back to God? I love the mindset in the Bible that John the Baptist lived with. His mission was simply to prepare the way for Jesus. And there were multiple times where people tried to elevate him or give him the credit, and he took that and he constantly pointed them to Jesus. He knew that's what he existed to do. He said in John 3:30, he must become greater, talking about Jesus, and I must become less. As a follower of Christ, this has to be your significance mindset. We must take the posture that he must become greater and I must become less. If you're too focused on getting all the credit and all the praise, then you might be living a little more for success than for significance. Let's be men that prepare the way for the Lord and give him the credit because he's worthy of it. He's the reason we're alive, and he's the reason that we have purpose. So how can you put more significance in your life today? How can you make your life more about bringing glory to God? How can you make your everyday life more about others than yourself? I believe true intentional living is about living for significance over success. So I would encourage you to think about that today. Think through all the activities that you do on a consistent basis and think about the ways that you can make them more about others than about yourself. Significance, again, is making a difference wherever you are with whatever you have day by day. So thanks for joining me today. I really hope today was helpful. I hope it was encouraging. And please, I ask that you just share this with somebody else if you think they might benefit from it. But I'm grateful for you. Thanks for being here today. Go live a life you're proud of by living intentionally.